What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Godspeed ZRZ. Now today I'm bringing you guys something that's been highly requested ever since we've really dived into the higher end stuff on the channel. So today we have the C8 Corvette, and we're gonna dive right in and go over it. So as many of you know, there's already so much information out there on these. I'm not going to dive in deep. I really just want to go over my honest impression of this car and actually tell you guys what I really think it's like in a real world scenario. Most people really don't have these as a daily driver or something that they have to drive every day. Now this one is actually my GM's, and he actually does drive it pretty much every day. This one's got 7,000 miles on it right now. It does have the Z51 package on it as well, so you'll notice a little bit more of the aggressive aero and some pretty nice styling as well. Even to go as far as the interior, there's some pretty nice pieces once we get inside there. If you can't tell, this one's actually the convertible. With the convertible, it's pretty cool with these new C8s. Of course, with the mid-engine in the back, the layout for the actual convertible is quite a bit different, and I'll show you guys actually how to take the top down right now. And it turns into a transformer. So this will give you guys the look with the convertible top down, and obviously it looks really good. I'm actually not a big fan of convertibles, but I think this one stands out compared to the rest simply because of that mid-engine layout. So they really have to find a way to hide that hardtop, the convertible hardtop, quite a bit differently. You can see similar design aspects from the C7 at different angles, but really and truly this thing is a all-new machine. I really do like the aggressive styling. With myself being more of like a domestic enthusiast, I really haven't had the opportunity to see or have first-hand experience with a lot of the mid-engine vehicles. One of my buddies in high school did have a Fiero, and that's about as far as I got with mid-engine cars. But with this, I mean, it really is a whole new machine. Driving characteristics are completely different, and the overall experience is just a whole new thing compared to anything that I'm actually used to. And of course, with the Z51 package, you do have the awesome rear spoiler on this one, and it looks great. It really complements all the rest of the aero, as well as the rear diffuser. Now for the interior, you can see it's more of like a cockpit design. It's actually designed off of a fighter jet interior, so you can tell everything is extremely driver oriented. Every switch, every gauge, everything is just oriented for the driver, because this is a driver's car and it's all about the experience of the driver. Now with these upgraded seats, they look really nice. They are perforated as well, so we've got the heated and cooled seats in this one, which are always nice whenever you're running a convertible. And then you've also got the flat bottom and top steering wheel, along with the really nice paddle shifters that are really nice compared to what we get in most domestic cars with paddle shifters. Now the door seal on this car is extremely large, extremely wide. And then you've got this massive vent right here as well, which feeds back in to cool down that motor, which is just absolutely awesome. And whenever you do have the door open, it looks kind of strange, and as soon as you shut it, it looks perfect. But obviously we can pretty much all agree that the exterior is just absolutely impressive, extremely aggressive, and it really suits my taste really well. I love the exterior, pretty much every element they've put into the design aspect of it, and I really couldn't ask for much more, especially from a domestic car in uncharted territory as far as what, you know, the domestic manufacturers are used to doing. But what I really want to go over is the actual driving characteristics, so let's go ahead and jump in. Now once you are inside here, it's a really nice place to be. We're actually going to go ahead and put the top back on, and we're just going to pull that switch, basically like you're rolling up a window. It does take about 16 seconds, not too long at all, and you'll see it come back over us right here. And we should hear it ding whenever it's all done. Perfect. And it'll roll back up the windows. All of your normal button controls are actually right here on this pillar on the car, and it's a really nice setup. It works really well. So we'll go ahead and turn the AC on. And for the actual screen itself, it's a really nice screen, very similar display as what you'd see in a lot of the other GM products. It works well. It's also got a vent right below it, which is really nice because there's not really any other place to put vents here. And then you've got a full LCD display for your actual gauge cluster. So you do have your mode selector right here, and you can basically just twist it and it'll go through the different modes. You can see Tour there, and then we've got Sport, and then we've got track. And of course, this does have the active exhaust too. So the active exhaust will actually change the exhaust tone. And for the door handles on the interior, you've just got the buttons that you press, very Corvette-ish, and then lock, unlock. And this one does have the Bose Performance sound system, which is really nice. And you've even got enough space for cup holders. Not much space for anything else. The actual console is extremely small. And then this back here with the extra speaker in the back, it's actually laid out really well. It's all pretty convenient. And for the rear mirror, I do believe, yeah, so for this rear view mirror, you do have the camera on top. That way you can see everything, which is really nice. And even with the Z51 package wing, the way they've got it cut down right here, it does increase visibility just a little bit. So it's not just a normal design feature to look more aggressive, it's actually got a little bit of functionality as well. You can see your Prindle here, quite a bit different than what we're used to for a normal shifter, but to drive, just put it there, and then we're good to go. So it is in track right now, just so you guys can actually hear it. And the exhaust tone on this for a stock exhaust is really nice. It's actually pretty aggressive. And you can tell in track, the steering's quite a bit tighter, the suspension's a bit tighter, throttle response is faster, and the transmission, it'll keep you in the right gear and give you the most power at all times. You can see the heads-up display right there as well. Let me turn up the brightness so maybe you can see it a little better. There it is. So with the heads-up display, it is pretty customizable. That way you can put all the information you want to be right in front of your face. It's a really clear display too. So GM's been doing this for a while on a lot of their cars, and I think all of them have worked pretty well. I remember whenever they did have the green heads-up display, and that was a little bit different, but these are really nice. Now, just in terms of day-to-day use for driving this car, getting used to the mid-engine aspect of it is quite a bit different. Really, the way you approach corners and pretty much everything, it is a little bit different. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but obviously it's pretty manageable. It feels very, very secure. One of the biggest things I have noticed is whenever you're stomping on it, whenever you're trying to get down the road, it really feels like you're more on rails than anything. The traction, the amount of traction it gets in the rear is just crazy because all the weight's back there. And you know, in normal cars with the engine in the front, you really don't have near as much weight in the back. So you do have to be quite a bit more prepared to go in a straight line, I feel like, in the normal cars. But this, it's more like you just point it and shoot it, and it does really well. It's really impressive, and it's so much fun to drive too, because every time you come up to a stop sign, you go to a gas station, anything, people can't help but just stare at it. I mean, it's an awe-inspiring car. Everything from the design, the sound, it's just different. It's not anything that most people are used to. And this thing really is a wicked car. Shout out to my GM for him allowing me to actually make the video on this car. But I've gotten pretty accustomed to the look and the awe factor of it here recently, just because, like I said, I do see it every day. But whenever you get inside and drive it, it's a whole new experience, and it really is a lot of fun. The transmission's extremely smooth too. Like I said, it does have 7,000 miles, so this is well past the break-in period and everything is actually performing the way that it should. But the transmission feels great. The power band in this car is very linear, so it doesn't feel like it's ever really searching for a gear, not searching for power. Obviously, no lack of low-end torque, and it's really impressive just the way that it handles whatever you throw at it. And we'll give her one good rip right here. Extremely impressive, sounds really good. We have been talking about throwing an exhaust on this thing. It would really open it up and just make it that much more fun. So hopefully that's something you guys might even be able to see in the future here on this thing. So overall, in my honest opinion, I've actually said it in my previous videos before, in terms of like the coolest domestic vehicles, you know, under $100,000. For me, it always comes down between the C8, the TRX, and my actual Rubicon 392. And These are just extremely cool vehicles. I don't think that most people realize how crazy the times are that we have these crazy vehicles that we can just go to the dealership and buy. Sure, the markups, you know, a little bit crazy right now, but just in terms of the cars we actually have available, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane, and they keep pushing the envelope even more, which just makes me more excited. But really and truly, this C8 compared to anything else is just completely different. The driving experience, the amount of fun that you have in it, it's a different type of fun. It's almost like a crazy import car, like a Lamborghini, like a Ferrari. I'm not sure what the quality is compared to those cars though either, because, you know, I've never had one. I honestly don't even think I've drove either. I haven't drove anything like that, so I don't have much of a baseline to compare it off of. But in terms of domestic cars, any of the other domestic cars, I have got to test literally all of those out, and this is right on par with some of the nicest vehicles I've ever been in terms of quality and in terms of how everything actually functions. Everything works the way that it should, and it's really, really impressive. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I just wanted to give you guys a quick peek at this car and kind of dive into it for just a minute. Now, if this is something you guys are interested in seeing more of on the channel, let me know. I'd be more than happy to make some cool videos with it. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what this thing is, my honest opinion of it. And in all honesty, whenever everything lines up, I believe I'll go ahead and probably get one of these as well. That will be a little bit down the road, obviously, but this is definitely something that's on the top of my list, and I'd be really excited to actually own one and be able to do some crazy stuff to it. I think the aftermarket support for these cars is going to be pretty strong, which I know now there's already a lot of stuff out there, and obviously the more time that they're out, the more stuff that's going to come out. So I'm definitely interested to see what's going to come out of it. I've already seen some pretty cool wide body kits. As we all know, the Z06 is coming out now too, but there's so many cool things to do to this car, and it's more of like a uncharted territory in terms of domestic cars anyway. So I'm very interested in seeing what can actually be done to these and how they react to aftermarket modifications. But for now, from the factory, it's absolutely awesome. It's a wicked car. Happy I got to drive it, and it's definitely at the top of my list now for cars we need to add to the fleet. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think and let me know what you want to see next. But until next time, just take it easy.